my Scrappy Cowl. I showed this a good few weeks ago, I think now.
I try and match my belt to my shoes.
Well, that is sad, but there you go.
I just think
Oh,
that...
there's a cat in the garden.
Oh, stop.
But I've been doing some work on it, so I just thought I'd show you. Let me just move my tea out of the way because that would be a bit of a travesty. I'm really desperate for a wee. We're left now.
Nothing, I'm just smiling.
Oh, really?
Smiling for my favourite.
I knew I was going to do that. I'm just going to have to taste it.
Hey, buddy. 1, 2.
Yay! You remembered!
Oh, no, we can't get down that way. Can you go the other way? Welcome to episode 2 of the Bakery Bears treasure hunt. Now, when we left you last time, we had got a final clue. Kay, can you remind us what that final clue was?
I can.
Thank you very much.
It was, now's not the time to sit, but journey forth, where Dickens slept the night at the King's Head, then find the home of King and King of North, and sit in Brackenbury's tower and look ahead.
Now, that was the trickiest of tricky clues that we had in the last episode of the Bakery Bears treasure hunt, and so we had to ask you to help, and help you have. You've headed over to the Bakery Bears treasure hunt thread in our Ravelry group, and there's been some people who, without your help, we would not have a clue where we were going today at all. What latched me on to where we're going, and I'll tell you where it is, it's Barnard Castle. What latched me onto it was someone mentioned Richard III, and the reason why they mentioned King Richard III was they mentioned Sir Thomas Brackenbury's tower, and Sir Thomas Brackenbury was a really important person in King Richard III's government. So where exactly are we today? Well, we're driving down this road and it's in the county of County Durham. It's directly above Yorkshire. And who is this man? Well, I just got his name a little bit wrong. It's actually Robert Brackenbury. He was the youngest son of Thomas Brackenbury, and he was one of King Richard, and here he is, King Richard III's closest associates, and he rose to the role of Constable of the Tower of London. Now, they met when Richard was living here. This is Middleham Castle. It's just down the road from Barnard Castle, and it's all part of the same estate. And we, of course, covered this story in episode 50. So that's what made me think of Barnard Castle. And the other reason that I knew it was Barnard Castle was because Dickens slept the night at the King's Head. Well, other people latched me on to the fact that it was, of course, Charles Dickens. Someone mentioned Nicholas Nickleby, and doing a bit of research, I found out that he stayed here at the King's Head, at the King's Head pub, when he was researching Nicholas Nickleby. And here is the man himself. Yes, this is Charles Dickens. The Adventures of Nicholas Nickleby was his third book and was originally published as a serial between 1838 and 1839. It has, of course, now been made into a film many times, most recently in 2002 with Nathan Lane and Anne Hathaway. But the key question, and I know Kay's already had a little look for us and she can announce it for us now. Kay, can you tell us, is there a Brackenbury's Tower in Barnard Castle?
There is. Hang on, I need to find it again. Yes, there is.
Tell us about it.
It's on the east side of the ward.
And the ward is, of course, the whole castle buildings.
Okay. The lower story was used as a storeroom and living quarters. Inside is a guard room at the end of a short passage, and to the right of the building are the original stairs to the first floor.
What we know then is that we have to get to Barnard Castle, and the last time we were at Barnard Castle was I think it was episode 6. It was when we did a 3 feature on local castles to us, and I mean that is about as early on as it possibly could be in our favourite places to knit journey.
Yeah.
So we're heading to Barnard Castle, and we have to find Brackenbury's Tower. So onward. We are making our way west across the UK through the county of County Durham. And isn't that funny that it's called County Durham? I'm not aware of any, I suppose there's County Antrim in Ireland, but I'm not aware of any other counties in England that are called that way. They normally just have a name like Yorkshire or Warwickshire or interesting. I want to find out now. This, though, is our destination. This is Barnard Castle, and it was built by Guy de Balliol around 1120. Now, that's a name you'll recognise if you've seen the film Braveheart. Guy's great-grandson was John Balliol, who was King of Scots from 1292 to 1296. And that, of course, made this the home of the King of North. Now, King Edward I of England, he, of course, was called the Hammer of the Scots, and he was portrayed wonderfully by Patrick McGowan in Braveheart. He confiscated this castle from the Balliol family in 1296, after John was deposed as King of Scotland, and he awarded it to the Nevilles. Now, in 1472, our friend Richard III married Anne Neville. Remember, we covered all this in episode 50, and thus it became the home of King of England, of course. Now, this is the town of Barnard Castle. It grew up around the castle and actually took on its name after the castle fell into ruin in the 16th century. This is a very distinctive market town. There's many beautiful towns throughout this region, but few with such history attached. Walter Scott, the author of Ivanhoe, frequently visited here. William Wordsworth, Daniel Defoe and Bill Bryson also have found inspiration from this really distinctive town. But we're here to find Brackenbury's Tower, and to do that we have to enter the outer ward of the castle. The inner ward, which we're looking at there now, was the home of the castle's owners. A ward means a courtyard, and it's enclosed by a wall, and a castle normally had 2. The men and women who worked at the castle would spend most of their time in the outer ward. Here at Barnard Castle, the outer ward was separated from the inner ward by a moat, which you can see right there. Kay, your phone.
My phone?
It's got a compass.
Has it?
Yes.
Gosh, I don't know.
It does.
I don't even know where it'll be on the phone. Where will it be?
If you swipe down and just search for compass, you know where you can do
Oh, hang on. Is it one of those? Compass?
Compass.
Oh, look.
Turn and face the east.
Turn and face the east.
It's over there. Bryony, it's over here. Go that way. Right. Hey, go the other way.
Other way, you can't get through.
That looks like the only tower right there. Well, go look, let's find out.
It's all fenced off.
Is this Brackenbury's Tower? Yes! Look! Brackenbury Tower.
Well, they're incorrect because this is north-east.
Right.
Actually, it's probably north-north-east, looking at that.
You sound like a fisherman. So that must be the guardrobe right here.
Is that the toilet?
It must be, yeah. So that's the loo. That must be the storeroom you mentioned.
I don't need the compass now, do I? I kind of quite like having a compass.
I don't know why it's going red. Those must be... That'll be the old stairway up to the top. Let's go. It must be up there.
Right, I'll put my phone away.
Yes, you can put your phone away. Because we might need it before today's shoot is out.
Fun way to get a place to run.
Stop playing with your compass. I know what to get you for Christmas now.
I know, I think it's like that.
I mean, it's an amazing view, to be honest, because you can see right the way across the whole castle. And there was the tower over there, where in the 1700s a hermit lived
I
in there.
thought that's where we were going, actually. That was the only tower I could think of.
This will have been a lot taller, I think. An awful lot taller.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously... This is clearly the seat of the windows. But that's interesting. I wonder if there was a gate down there before.
Somebody's
Got an arrow
torn
slit.
off the information thing. Look at that. Disgraceful.
There absolutely must have been a gateway
Yeah,
here,
there's tons.
because you've got an arrow slit straight down. So someone coming through the gateway, if they're bad, you're going to shoot them with an arrow.
Well, that's nice.
Cool.
Bryony, though, we have a problem.
What?
I can't see a clue.
Sorry.
What did the last bit say?
Look ahead. Look ahead. Well, that's... I don't know, this is looking ahead to me.
You mentioned a guardrail, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, you sit down on the loo.
What is another word for a toilet?
Lavatory.
A loo, a lavatory, a...
I think...
Throne.
What are you filming at the moment?
Sorry,
The floor.
I chopped your head off, I think.
Bryony, have a look. Is it there? Is it there?
Have you found it? Stop clock, I found a clue.
Yes.
Oh gosh, I'm not looking down there. I'm not getting a clue. It's really, I'm not looking down that hole.
Hello.
You'll have to get it. Looking to Wells, it's the same thing.
Oh, crumbs, that's a long way down.
Yeah, I'm not even
Look,
looking.
make sure you... Clue.
Oh, I've got gloves on. Hang on.
I want to see the clue.
Okay. Clue number 5. Oh, in 1747, the butter mart stood proud. So find it if you can and seek a butcher's from the crowd. Purvey a savoury treat appropriate for your table. Then journey to the brother's kitchen and find graffito if you are able. Well, there is a butter mart.
Is there?
In town, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Right.
there is a butter mart.
Okay, so we've got to go there.
Right,
Well, and this bit seems obvious. Find a butcher's,
yeah.
buy something appropriate for our picnic.
For the picnic, we've got to go to the butcher's and buy a sausage roll or something.
This is the tricky thing.
Journey to the brother's kitchen and find graffito.
Maybe that means
Or
a graffiti.
April. Graffiti, where is the... So is this still... Are we still in Barnard Castle here, or have we got to go somewhere else?
Where is there graffiti?
I don't know.
In a kitchen. It's
Eggleston.
yes.
It's Eggleston.
It's the kitchen at Eggleston. Okay.
A watch.
We're off.
To see the wizard.
So for the first time ever, folks, the clock is officially properly ticking in the Bakery Bears treasure hunt, and we have 30 minutes to complete this next clue. Now, this is the main street through Barnard Castle. Charles Dickens would have walked this street in the winter of 1837 as he researched Nicholas Nickleby. And look, this is where he stayed. En route to the butter mart, we found the King's Head. And it was opposite here that there was Humphrey's clock shop that also appeared in some of the other books. But just over the road from where Charles Dickens stayed, just down there, you can see it in the distance, is the Market Cross. Now, here it is in the late 1800s, and here it is today. And this was a gift to the town from one of its successful local businessmen. In 1747, Thomas Briggs paid for this, and he called it the Market Cross. Now, it quickly took on the name the Butter Mart, and the reason why it took on that name was because what they did was they brought in all the dairy produce into this lovely, on a warm day, because this is sandstone, it would have stayed cold, and obviously in the winter, as it is right at this moment, it is cold, let me tell you. And what would happen is, as people came and went on their horses and carts, they would stop outside the butter mart and they would buy their milk and their butter and any dairy produce, which is just, I think it's the loveliest thing. I've never seen anything quite like it anywhere. We're always looking, aren't we, at really old castles and monasteries and things, but to see something like this from the 1700s still standing in the middle of a town was just marvellous.
Time check, dudes, we're doing really well. We have 17 minutes to go. We were going to go in Greg's, but the queue was too big, and that might have caused us failing in our task. So instead, we're going here to Morrison's. We successfully succeeded on the mission. I managed to get 2, what are they, Kay?
Hand-raised pork pies.
Never had those before, and they sound perfect for an afternoon tea. Kay, what did you get?
I got, it's like a sausage roll, but it's cheese and onion.
Perfect. So we'll be trying those when we get to the end of our mission. But now we have to find Eggleston Abbey, and I've never driven to it from here. So let's see if we can find it. I found it. Eggleston Abbey. Now I can't even remember when we went there, but I do know they probably had a few glasses of wine while they were up there as well. So this is the bridge that we built.
treasure hunt is back. Yes, that was marvellous.
Did you like it?
Yes, and it's just the most fun to film.
It is fun.
And it was especially fun now that we've added the additional, even though you've only just got a hint of it in that first part, we've now properly added in the times and the timing.
Oh yeah.
So
it was close, wasn't it?
every time.
It's
It's
really
so
close.
great. Well, we haven't actually.
I kind of thought we'd have plenty of time, but it really was down to the last sort of minute as to...
You'll find out in part 2, because will we find Eggleston Abbey in time?
Oh.
And then who knows where we'll be going next? It's somewhere new, and that's coming later on in the show. Oh. Yeah, you were there. It sounds like you weren't there.
Oh.
For anyone who was wondering,
Yeah.
yes, Kay has matched her t-shirt to her nail varnish today. Yesterday, she
Dan
matched...
thinks I do this deliberately, and I
No,
don't.
I'm not claiming that she does it deliberately. What I'm claiming is that it happens naturally.
Well, that's
Yeah?
a bit of a saddo then, isn't it?
Why is that sad?
I don't know.
I try and match my belt to my shoes.
Well, that is sad, but there you go. I mean...
So it was great anyway. We absolutely loved getting out and filming some more treasure hunt. And yes, back later on in the show.
Are you all ready for Christmas?
Oh, we are. Look. Looky.
We've got some lights up there now.
But
You can just see
hold on. Look, there's the
Oh,
whole...
sorry, yeah, we've got a whole big Lego scene. Can you see?
There's also a Playmobil scene on the
There
top
is.
shelf, which you can see up there. There's
Yeah,
Santa.
yeah.
He's feeding a reindeer, and then over here there's an elf posting a letter. I think we need to discuss Glittergate.
Gosh, this was a nightmare. So Dan decided on the 30th of November that he wanted an advent calendar for himself. So we were like, right, okay.
Do I not
Sorry,
always...
no, it was the 29th. So I said,
always
right,
have an advent calendar.
we'll go out. But you'd had all this time to say that, honey, and you said you didn't want the Star Wars one, so I didn't get you that.
I was waiting for someone to give me one.
You're an adult. You can't expect me to go chasing after you saying, do you want an advent calendar?
No, I was expecting my mum to send me one.
Right, well, his mum didn't send one. Nana Wendy let us down. So we had to go out on the 30th of November and get him an advent calendar. And you just wanted like the paper ones where you open the little doors. But of course, he has to have glitter on it. Don't ask me why.
Because when I was young, that's what they had on them.
And it's the glitter, it comes off on your hands.
You knew when it was a
everything.
good calendar because it was covered in glitter.
So of course we couldn't find a calendar that had glitter on it. So then I said to him, well, I'm sure I've got some glitter at home.
I haven't opened today yet.
No, you haven't.
Oh, I can look forward to that.
So I said, I'm sure I've got some glitter at home. So of course we got home and I couldn't find a pot of glitter anywhere in the whole house. And I think what's happened is when we sorted out Bryonys' bedroom back in September, I think I got rid of all this big basket of stuff that she hadn't touched in years, and I think it was in there. So anyway, we didn't have any glitter.
But
This was a disaster. However, I remembered that a few days prior I bought Bryony a little bag of reindeer dust. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but basically, again, charities tend to sell these. It's a little bag and it's full of porridge oats, but there's glitter in there as well. And the idea is that you sprinkle it on your garden on Christmas Eve.
it looks like what they were feeding them in Santa Claus the movie. I wonder if that's where the idea comes from.
Maybe. But you sprinkle it on your garden on Christmas Eve so that the reindeers can come down. They've got, they'll see the glitter and then they've got some porridge oats to eat as well. So I said, do you know what? There's some glitter in that. So it was mixed in with all these porridge oats, right? This glitter. So I kind of emptied out as much of the porridge as I could, and then there was quite a lot of glitter. So I managed to do it with this glitter, but there was an occasional porridge oat.
Which is an interesting but pleasant addition.
So, needs must
And
is the answer.
it seems that the Griswolds
Uh-huh.
have moved in just across the way.
They have.
We were getting home yesterday
very interesting
evening,
decorations.
and I've never seen anything quite like it.
No, we were just laughing our heads off.
There is a blow up Santa.
Yeah.
Someone has moved their car off their drive, and there is a massive blow up Santa.
It wasn't just a Santa though. I think there was reindeer and there was something else that was lit up. And I asked, what are they going to do with their car? They've just taken over their drive, with all these blow up.
It is fun.
It was for Bryony was laughing, weren't she, so much?
It's great fun. Look,
Yes.
This is a knitting podcast.
Is it?
Yes. Kay Jones, what's on your needle?
Oh, well, look at some
That looks
knitting
Christmassy.
there. It does look Christmassy, and that's why I thought I'd show it, actually. I've
Did
got
you?
a couple of sort of scrappy projects here, so I'm going to show these together. But I picked up again my Scrappy Cowl. I showed this a good few weeks ago, I think now. But I've been doing some work on it, so I just thought I'd show you. Let me just move my tea out of the way, because that would be a bit of a travesty. What are you laughing at?
Nothing, I'm just smiling.
All right.
Smiling's my favourite.
I knew I was going to do that. So this is my Scrappy Cowl. And you can see I'm putting in now here, this is a little opal. And it is one of the ones from the Opal calendar, but it was last year's. I just had loads of it left. And it is this very festive red and green and white. So I thought, oh, I'm going to knit some of that in. And I'd done this gold section. So I think that whole bit here looks very festive, doesn't it? So this is just a fingering weight cowl, knit in the round, just on a hat needle, 16-inch hat needle. And I can't remember how many I cast on, but I think it's round about somewhere between 140 and 150, I think. And I'm just knitting it. I did a provisional cast on so that I can graft the two ends together when it's finished. And I'm just changing yarns just whenever I feel like it. It's just really nice, and this is kind of my bedtime knitting now. So it's just lovely, how I like this kind of round and round, put it down whenever I want to thing. So that's one scrappy thing I've been working on. And then I've started an Advent project, if you like. And I am undecided as to what to do with these minis. I did a swap with my lovely friend Sarah, and we decided to do an Advent mini swap. And I thought, well, I might just knit them into my cowl, my Scrappy Cowl. But what I've decided to do is I'm going to knit a 5x5 mitered square block. I'm going to add in an extra one for day 25 because I have got some other minis that Sarah's given me, over the year.
And I remember as a child, maybe once or twice, I got an advent calendar which had a day 25 on it. And that was great.
Well, yeah, and then I've never seen an advent calendar with day 25 on.
Go for it with a 25.
Well, I needed it to be 25 because it was 5x5. So I've done the first 5 days, and I've actually got the next one here. I'm going to open it now. I haven't opened it yet, so that'll be fun. But this is the first 5 days. Isn't it lovely? So I just love them all. There's no... Because with the Opal one last year that I did, although I really loved the opening and everything, a lot of the yarns I didn't really care for the colours. And I still knit them in and it was all fine. But there were a lot of really sort of dark colours, and it was expensive, so I thought that's why I wasn't going to do it this year. So this has been brilliant to do this, and I know a lot of other people have done this as well, done like a lovely swap. So this is the first 5 squares. This was day 1. This is a skiing queen. It's like a merino singles, really pretty. I'm trying to remember the colourway names. I did put them all on Instagram, so if you want to go back and see what they are, just have a look on Instagram. This one is beautiful. The colourway, I think it's called macarons. Is that how you say it?
What?
Macaron.
What's that?
It's the little round...
Macaroons?
Well, no, I think they're called macarons. I don't think they're called macaroons, are they?
The round things?
Yeah. Is it a macaroon?
Is that the round thing with the cream in the middle?
Yeah.
It's a macaroon.
Yeah. Oh, right, macaroon.
Yeah.
It was spelt macaron. Maybe that's the French spelling.
O-N-E on the end.
No.
O-N.
O-N-S. So maybe that's the French way. Isabel, is that the French way? How do you say it? Isabel will tell us. Then this one is Herb's Black Regina. Is that how you say that second part of... I'm never sure. I think it's Regina. And I've never knit with this before, and this was lovely. The base is kind of a little bit like an opal. It feels like it'd be fantastic for socks. The whole time I was knitting it, I was thinking, oh, I'd love to knit a pair of socks in that, because I think that just would be brilliant for socks, and the colours are gorgeous. And then these two are Sarah's Texture Crafts, all sparkly and lovely, really beautiful. Love those. Now, and look, I've got tiny little bits left. And I put them in this sort of see-through bag because I wanted to see all the tiny little balls left at the end. And I will probably knit them into my cowl, actually, into my Scrappy Cowl. So that's so fun, opening those every day. And on some of them, she's even put, like, some days have a progress keeper. And so far, I've had a Christmas tree and 2 snowflakes. Just fantastic. Just such a lovely thing to do, I think that. So there we go. So that's that. Dan Jones, what's on your noodles?
This is the Irish coffee. I joined it in the round,
Yeah.
as you can see there. Had to change the length of the cable because the one I had was a little bit too long.
It was. I mean, the pattern, strangely, says that the ideal length of cable is 29 inches, of needle is 29 inches. Well, I'm not aware that you can get 29 inches. It's usually 24 or 32. So you were working on a 32, but when it came to be joining in the round, it was just too long. So we switched it to a 24, and then we'll have to switch it back again when they get too crowded on there.
Yeah. It's great fun, actually. It really is great fun. I really like it.
Right.
And doing this has been really good for me and my make one lefts and make one rights.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those techniques which needs repetition, and if all your knitting is hats and socks and things like that,
you don't
then
get to do that.
you just don't get to do it. So I love the ribbing and I love the way that works. Now I've understood what's actually going on, and that's half the battle, isn't it? Understanding what's going on, so you know what you're creating. I just wonder. We'll see when I'm another 10 inches into the knit how I'm feeling. But at the moment, I really feel like I might have found something which I might like to do.
All right.
Which would be quite cool, wouldn't it? Because you're not really a garment knitter.
No, not really.
If I became a garment knitter, well, that would be great.
That
because
would be marvellous.
You could keep us in socks and mittens and things, and I could keep us in garments.
Yeah.
And then well, you can't knit trousers, but but then that'd be good, because if you're like jumpering and cardiganing and gloves and hats,
Right.
all you need to do is buy some trousers and some shirts and you're away.
Right.
I'm just excited about the prospect of creating a garment that can be worn on the whole body rather than just a hat when it's cold.
Yeah.
Look, I'm about to ask
I'm
you
ready.
again. Oh, she's very slick today. What else is on your needles?
Oh, well, guess what?
What?
I've just finished the sort of colourwork section of the split back snowflake hat. It's the one by Susan B. Anderson that I'm knitting for Bryony for Christmas. It's this one. And I've just finished the snowflakes. So I have just got this last bit. Can you see this colourwork bit here? I'm on that exact bit now.
It's exciting.
It is exciting because I've nearly finished really now. It looks pretty good from a distance. Look at it on the screen.
This looks good, yeah.
Now, I did this holding one yarn in one hand and the other in the other. So I knit continental with the left and, English with the right. Never done that before. And it was a challenge, I'll be honest, because my left hand didn't quite know what to do. I was like, oh, and I have tried it before and just cannot get my head around it at all. But I thought, no, do you know what, for this I'm gonna give it a go, because actually it works really well. Your yarns don't get tangled, because I had like my blue yarn was down here and my white yarn was down here, so they never get tangled. And I think I'm hoping it's a good way of getting the tension right on the back. I'll show you the back, although it's not blocked yet, obviously. I'm going to try to see the floats there. And I did catch the floats as well, because there are sections where you've got a lot of stitches, like here. Can you see these white sections here, where you've got quite a number of stitches, so you really need to catch your floats. And again, I just looked up how to do that on YouTube, and there were several tutorials, and actually it was really easy. It was easy to do because of the left and the right hand thing, I think. I think it would be much more difficult if you were just holding both yarns in the right hand, which is how I've always done colour work before. But doing it this way, I found it really easy to catch those floats, so that wasn't a bother at all. So my only hope really is that when I'm going to give it a nice soak, and I think that will even up, because at the minute the stitches do look kind of a little bit bumpy, if you know what I mean. They don't particularly look stretched or anything like that. So I think a nice soak will, you know, hopefully even those out. I do have some stitches that look looser than others. It's by no means perfect, but you know, this is the first time I've done this. I think the most difficult thing in working colourwork is getting that tension right, so that your floats are not too tight. Because if your floats are tight, that's when it then, you know, your colourwork kind of sucks in like that, doesn't it, and distorts. That's another word I obviously can't say.
Well, you did it second time. It was perfect. I was going to knit that, and we decided that I shouldn't because of the fear that my tension would not look right.
Yeah, and I'm not convinced that it's perfect in any way. This
it might be like me when I first did socks. You have to do it a few times to set your gauge.
Yeah, and I would knit this again, definitely, and I think I won't necessarily want to rush to knit it straight away again, but I would love one that's white and pink for me. So maybe, you know, I'll ask for that next Christmas and I'll get one that's white and pink. And then I had a bit of a thing over the pom-pom. I wanted initially to have one of the Toft alpaca pom-poms, you know, but they didn't have any in stock, so I was just kind of rethinking what I was going to do. And then someone told me that ukalpaca.com, I think that was the one, had some of them in stock, so I was like, great, ordered one straight away. And it came, and I don't really like it. So this is just a personal taste thing. It's just not very nice, is it? It's not very round for starters. Look how, you know, and I suppose you could, even if you try to do that, I don't think there's very much fur. So I'm not going to use this, because also I just don't like, it looks kind of greyish next to that lovely cream. So I'm not going to use it. I'll find some other use for that, which is absolutely fine. I am going to make a pom-pom instead using the yarns.
That's a much better idea.
Do you have a pom-pom maker? I've just failed in the past making pom-poms, but I'm going to do a couple of trials before I actually use the hat yarn. So I will crack it and I will get it right, because she does want this great big pom-pom on top, and I think I've got a large pom-pom maker. I need to double check, but if not, I can easily get one. So yeah, and the yarn I'm using for that it's lovely. It's Sublime Extra Fine Merino Worsted. Really lovely yarn to knit with, beautifully soft. And this is Alabaster, and this is Dew, D-E-W. I'm loving it, and I'm almost finished, so yay. I want to get that done in the next couple of days.
Yay for you.
Yay for me. So
Finished.
It's been a great project. Yes.
Great. Socks. This is Bryonys' birthday cast on sock.
Oh.
I have been caught up knitting something else, which I'll show you later. But I did the heel flap without using a stitch counter.
Didn't have a clicker with him when you were doing it, did you? So you just counted in your head. I said, my goodness. You could actually count the slip stitches going up as well.
Right. Okay. Well, you could. I don't think I could. I did that, and then look, I turned the heel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see?
Did you have the pattern for that?
Yes,
Oh, right.
in my pattern folder.
Oh, brilliant.
I now have a pattern folder, and I also have a cupboard in my office, which used to have all wires in it, now has my stash in it, and then I have an open cupboard without a door on the front, which has things I finished that I wear, and also that's where I put things I've just finished before they go off to whoever is going to have them. Wow. You know, it's interesting, isn't it, that I've got to that point in my life where I felt that the right thing to do was to get rid of the manly stuff and embrace,
get some wool in there.
Embrace the wool.
No.
It's funny, it's taken me, 2.5, 3 years to get to that point.
I was absolutely delighted because I said, "Oh, I can get some yarn out of my enormous stash."
I'm really happy that I felt right to do that.
Yeah.
I think it must mean something else has clicked in my brain. Sort of says that that's acceptable, and I don't know if that sounds crazy or not, but I think all male knitters, well, maybe not all, but I'd be shocked if it wasn't more than care to admit it, feel that sort of I'm a male knitter.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be shocked if people don't, because it isn't. I'd love to know how many male knitters lived within a 50-mile radius of where I'm sat right now. I bet there's 2.
Can't think of.
And one of them's me.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked if there wasn't even 2. So you get what I'm saying. I'm really happy that, you know, I felt that was, you know, now is the time to do it. But the sock, it's great. And I even was thinking about 2 at a time socks.
Oh, you weren't.
I was. That is, of course, the yarn. And it's really great to knit, as you know. It's Opal, isn't it?
Yes. It's 6-ply.
Cool, Opal 6-ply.
Yeah.
And
trying to remember
I think Bryony
cabaret. I think it's the cabaret range.
I think Bryony will really like this. So I'll be picking up stitches next, and I'm nearly done.
Nearly done, really.
I am.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Well, I've also got a sock, and this is a new cast on. This sock was cast on the tree trimming day cast on thing that I did, which was last Saturday, 3rd of December, and we recorded a live video.
We didn't record a live, we broadcast live.
We broadcast a live video to our Patreon Facebook group, and then everybody could watch it afterwards as well, because not everybody obviously could be there at the time.
What we do is, after we've done the live broadcast, we then upload it so people can watch it afterwards. But
it was very fun. We did about 20 minutes, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I cast this sock on live. I sat next to the Christmas tree, and it was really lovely, because what you can do is, you know, on Facebook, when you comment, we can see that straight away. So Dan was like, oh, so, you know, so-and-so's here and so-and-so's here, and it was lovely, and we were like chatting backwards and forwards, so that was really nice.
It's great fun.
And I did manage to cast it on and knit 1 row on DPNs. Amazing. You know, I don't quite know how I managed that, but this is the sock, and this is where I'm up to now. What I'm doing is I'm actually holding the yarn double. I'm knitting some thick, cosy winter house socks. I just thought that'd be really nice. Especially with this yarn, and it does work incredibly well. Can you see all the lovely speckledy bits? Beautiful. It's the fondant fibre spangle base, and it's in the vintage fairy lights. It's really, really beautiful yarn. I love it. And I decided to put these contrast colours in. I still don't know if it's a little bit bright. I don't think it is, because vintage fairy lights are different colours, aren't they? I did decide to do it in the end, and I do really like it. And I'm using, again, doubled. It's Knit Pick Stroll Glimmer, and I've got Foxglove is the purple, and Runway is the pink. And this yarn was gifted to me by lovely Heather, so I'm thrilled to be using it. Thank you, Heather. And it's lovely to knit with. I have knit with this before. I knit a shawl for my sister, a black shawl in the glimmer. And I really like it. So on this one, I'm doing purple, pink, purple for the toe. And the other one, I'll do pink, purple, pink. Yes, for the toe, just to alternate them. But it's super quick, you know, because it's doubled and it's 48 stitches. So it just absolutely zoomed. And I did this, cast it on Saturday at 4 o'clock. And I was this far down by sort of Sunday evening. So it's a day's knitting, really. And I'm on the foot now. I've done the decreases and I'm on the foot. And I did switch it. I was originally knitting it on like 3 DPNs, you know, like in a triangle, and knitting round with the 4th needle. But then when I got to the heel flap, I just thought, oh, it's just going to be easier if I'm working on 4, isn't it? Because everything divides. And I have knit whole socks before just using 3, you know, and knitting with the 4. I just find this sort of easier to negotiate doing it this way around. Really enjoying that.
Well, good for you.
And I really want to get those finished so they can wear them on Christmas Day.
Yes.
So I need to crack on with those, really. Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely.
Lovely. And I'm using 3.25mm Chow Goose DPNs.
This is a new antler.
It is.
There is something important I think we should add. Last episode, we had a lovely time chatting to Alexa Ludeman from TinCan Knits, who designed this pattern. And we established the pronunciation of the antler and the word that follows it. Toque. Did I say that?
That's how Canadians would say it.
Now, I've subsequently received messages, a number of messages,
one from someone who's actually in Quebec,
Right.
in French-speaking Canada,
Yeah.
and she corrected me again on the pronunciations.
Right.
And I actually think, and I could be totally wrong here, but just how I say certain words different to the way Kay says certain words. Can we think of one?
Lair. Mary Berry says it like that.
Well, there we go. Kay says lair,
As in, you know,
and I'm not talking about where a dragon lives.
no, a layer cake, you know, different layers.
I say layer. And the reason for that is
Isn't she a
I went to a
princess
school
in
where I was
Star Wars?
taught how to speak, and Kay didn't.
So cheeky.
But I did go to a school where we did have elocution lessons.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right in that. Yeah.
So layer. I have a feeling, given the amount of information that's come from people from all over the world, that toque is how the Canadians pronounce it
Yeah.
in the part of the world where Alexa comes from.
Very possibly, yeah.
And so the way, because I've been told by a few people that the way we pronounced it,
Toque.
did we?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm lost. So we've come to a decision, and that decision is
We're just going to call it.
the antler. So this is the antler. It's the antler hat.
Hat.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And yes, I am making another one.
You are?
And this does form part of the Baker Best Handmade Christmas. So I need to get on with it.
You do.
And I have time now to get on with it because I finished a mammoth project which we'll show you later. And the reason why this got cast on was because of my stash creation. Kay helped me create my stash, and that then resulted in me seeing lots of different yarn. And this is Nitpicks City Tweed Aaron
It's another one from Heather.
HW. I like a heavy worsted. So yes, I'm knitting this, and
Very nice yarn. It's merino wool, superfine alpaca, and Donegal tweed.
oh, Donegal, that's in Ireland, isn't it? Is it?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's this one. And this colourway
Well,
it's colour number, it's Cobalt. CM71, Cobalt. It looks kind of purple on screen, doesn't it?
It does, actually.
It's more blue in reality. That's funny, it looks purpley. But it's a
Purpley.
lovely yarn, purpley. I don't even know if I'm going to get this done for Christmas, but Bryony put on her Christmas list to Santa that she wanted Daddy to have a pair of socks. Oh,
You've
and
got to finish it.
you know, I saw this and I'm
Not to
like,
put
oh, you
pressure.
are winding me up. So I thought the only way I stand any chance whatsoever of finishing a pair of socks for Dan before Christmas is to knit thick ones. So that's what I am attempting to do. I in no way expect that I'm going to get these finished, but I'm going to do my best. And I'm using, it's the new Opal 8 ply in the Ice Bloom range, and the colour is that one. Don't know what that
Is that
says.
one.
There we go. This is the colourway that I'm using. That's the colourway name there. But I've started the sock, and I've knit Dan thick socks before. Can you remember his Star Wars socks? The one that looked like BB-8 and R2-D2?
I do because I wear them every day.
You do wear those a lot, which is why I thought another pair of thick socks would be really nice. So I'm following the same formula. I cast on 56 stitches, and I'm using 3.5 mil for these because that's what I used for the other one. And I'm this far. I'm only doing kind of short socks because again that's what I did before, I think, for you. And they're just sort of house socks, so they don't need to be really long, I don't think. So I've just picked up the stitches down, you know, for the heel flap. I'm not doing any kind of yarn management, I'm just going with it because these Opal yarns, but yeah, I think these yarns just are fine just to kind of carry on, you know, from where the yarn just ends up being. And I'm doing these magic loop, as you can see. And I think I knit this much fairly quick, but then I haven't picked it up for a few days because I've been working on other things that I'll show you in finished objects, and also that hat for Bryony. Because, you know, time's ticking on, isn't it? Just got to get these things done for Christmas, and I'm really bothered that I'm not going to get all these things done that Bryony's put on a Christmas list, which would be a disaster. But I think one of the things I can definitely buy, it doesn't need to be hand knit, but I really want to try and hand knit. Well, she's put on it that she wants Big Teddy to have a bobble hat. Big Teddy's the Teddy that I knit the cardigan for, if you remember. So really, it's only a preemie size hat I'd need to knit. So
I've got
I
a
could
plan.
do that in a couple of hours, couldn't I? Really?
Turn that over. Stick that on Big Teddy.
It's a balaclava. It does look a bit like a balaclava, doesn't it?
Wouldn't that be cool if he had a balaclava?
No.
Oh my goodness.
She wants a bobble hat for him. Can't have a bobble on a balaclava. That would be bizarre, wouldn't it? So, I've got that to
A
do, and then she
bobble-clava.
also wants Goffy to have a scarf, which again is just a tiny little thing, but again it will probably take me 2-3 hours to do that. So it's just fitting in all these things, isn't it? So I will do my best is all I can say, really. So that's Dan's sock, and again I really need to get on with it. The issue I'm having at the moment, and I don't know if everybody's like this at Christmas, and I don't think it's just Christmas, I think this is just me, but like for example, I sit down in an evening and I'm knitting a square into my blanket. I'm just thinking all the time, well, this is a bit indulgent, I shouldn't really be knitting this, I should be knitting on something for Christmas. But then I can't knit on the things for Bryony because she's sat right there. So I'm limited on time when I can knit those. But I should be maybe knitting on this sock for Dan, and I'm not. And by the time I've tortured myself in my head over all this, I've actually not knit very much at all on anything.
You need to get back to using... If we need to revisit, we need to revisit it. But it works really well for you having that schedule.
I know.
Because then and then what happens is you stop doing it, and then...
I know, but then I think, should we be working to a schedule? You see, I say schedule. Should I be, should knitting be, I should just knit whatever I want to knit. But then, you have things that you feel you've got to knit. I don't know. It's a bit of a dilemma at this time of year, isn't it? And I didn't intend knitting anything at all for Christmas. And I've ended up knitting what? I've got 3 things on the go at the minute, plus another 2 things I've got to knit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I will do my best.
With the greatest respect, if you don't...
You see, what if I don't get these socks finished?
Right, no,
Brian
just hold
put them
on.
on a Christmas list, and how are we going to explain that to her?
Right, okay,
This is what-
pause. If you don't have a plan, then
Yeah.
you will never achieve anything.
No, I know.
So it's all right saying, this is just, it's knitting and we should just do what we want. Well, in that case, we'd just live in a house full of blanket squares.
Well, that's true.
So,
That's true.
and also, very quickly, you would get bored
of
of knitting
it.
blanket
I'm
squares.
I'm sure.
And
yeah.
it's like anything. You have to remember that the grass is always greener. It's human nature to always want to do the opposite of what you are doing.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, I know that you respond well to working to a schedule. You like to go,
I do.
okay,
I do.
from this time to this time I'm doing this.
I do.
And then I know it's done.
Yeah.
And then I can move on to that. And the reason why that works for you is you don't feel guilty because I've done my 40 minutes of whatever and now I can do whatever I like.
No, that's true, and that does work for me. And I bought myself...
Yeah, I mean, what are you talking about?
I know.
Says the woman who has a planner and who loves it.
I know.
So don't contradict yourself.
I showed this to the patrons actually, but I haven't shown it on the main podcast. And I bought myself a planner because I did have one, that a lovely friend gave me for my birthday last year. But that ran out in May, and it was just too costly to order inserts from America and pay the customs duty. I found this one in Waterstones recently, and it's brilliant. It's this one. And it's by Orange Circle Studio. I believe you can get it on Amazon. I have been, literally, this is by my side all day. And every day I go to see what I've got to do on the list, get those done, tick it off, and I know that I've done the things on that day that have to be done. So this works extremely well for me, and that's what Dan's saying with, working to a schedule works for me, and it does. So...
Well, it does for anyone doing anything. If
Yeah.
you have a plan, you're always going to achieve a whole lot more.
And I feel
than if
more...
you just coast.
I feel much more settled in my brain if my life feels ordered, and I suppose everybody
Says the
does.
woman that less than 4 minutes ago said, should we be working to a schedule?
I know, it's crazy. I fight against myself all the time, which I think probably a lot of us do, don't we? So...
For some reason, and it's interesting, and I'd love to delve into the psyche of why this is, but I think you have an ingrained rebellious streak.
Do you?
Yeah. And that's what came out then a moment ago when you said we shouldn't be working to a schedule.
Probably, yeah. I do rebel against myself. Do you know, if I say to myself, you know, oh, I know that I've got to do that, and then I don't want to do it if I set myself a target. And again, I think lots of us are like that. So I think that's part of the reason why, you know, I've been saying all this is because of that. Because I, you know, if I do impose something on myself, I'm then like, don't really want to do it, which is crazy, isn't it?
Well, it is crazy, and also that's called life.
Well, I suppose, yeah.
But you know, the other flip side of all that is the way to be successful is to make the things you don't want to do enjoyable and fun.
Yeah.
And you know, if
and
you
I
do
must
that,
have wanted to do it in the first place by saying
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. It's crazy, isn't it? It is crazy.
and that's why I say you've got an ingrained rebellious streak.
Maybe so.
But I think if you stick to the plan and stick to, well, it works. We know it
does
works
work.
because it's worked for you before.
Yeah, and it's working now, you know. I get things done I've got to do, and I know what I'm doing the next day, and I really like that. So.
I'm knitting another pair of
Oh,
socks.
I can't believe this!
They look quite big. I don't know why.
You said to me the other day, oh, I want to cast on another pair of socks. I said, why? You've only just started one. Let me have a look.
The reason why I wanted to knit another pair of socks was because I was so enjoying knitting those other socks, and also this all came about because of the development of my stash. I saw, you know, this yarn, and I said, well, I want to knit another pair of socks. Could you go and wind me that ball? To be fair, I could have gone and wound it because I do know how to wind because you taught
You
me.
can, yeah.
Kay went and wound it for me. I cast it on.
And it's like the one I'm knitting dance sock in, but this is last year's range. So it's the Opal Wintermonde. So this is from Opal last year, and I love this colour. I bought this actually from Julie at Suffolk Socks, you can see, when we went to Yarndale. And this colourway it's got to be something like Silver Night.
Right.
It's Sylvester Nacht. Oh, that's terrible. Shocking accent, but that's the colourway.
It sounds like a German Oscar winner.
I know it does. Yeah. And it's beautiful sort of turquoise and purple and white and little speckles. Really, really pretty. It looks very wintry, I think.
So it's just a 2x2 rib. I was going to do twisted rib, but then I thought I'm not going to do that because I do think that's a bit tighter than 2x2.
Yeah, and
because you're twisting the stitch.
The only bit of when you make socks for me, the only sometimes is because I've got huge ankles, and I think I've got huge ankles, is that the cast on can be tight because of the way he knits. So, but this looks fine. I gave you this is 3.75 mil. I gave you for this just to be sure that there was plenty of give. I can't even move them on the needle. Looks fine.
The other reason why I wanted to knit socks was I found these needles which Kay bought for me. So I thought, well, I'll knit some socks then, because I found these needles and they're free. And also, as well, I've finished quite a few projects recently, so it made sense. I've not got any more on the go than I've had, because I don't know about you, but I have a system where I've got project bags and certain projects go in certain bags. So when one finishes, then it needs filling up. Yeah. Right. Does anyone else use that technique? I like this bag actually a lot.
Yeah, you use that all the time.
It's got my lovely
loads of DPNs in there.
In the side, which I love. I really like DPNs actually. I should try doing DPN socks.
You should.
That should be my thing for next year. Yeah. I need to be cracking on more. What was my fingering weight boot camp? Was that those other socks that I'm knitting for Bryony? Was that a starter? Because it's quite thin.
They're sport weight.
Yeah. So that was a good start.
Step in the right direction.
Yes, because you know next year I want to make sure. Because don't worry, I have not forgotten. I will make the jewelled cowl of doom.
Well, we had an issue. Somebody asked us about this. You know, what happened with that? Do you know the beaded thing that you had to do? Well, I searched everywhere for some beads that would work. You know, with the DK or worsted weight yarn. The only ones I could find are the huge plastic ones. You know, that children play with. The multicoloured ones. I thought they're just awful. You know, to put into a cowl. I looked on several bead websites, and I just couldn't find any that had got a big enough hole in the middle that weren't, you know, stupidly massive beads.
So what I'm doing, and talk about commitment to the cause, people, what I'm doing is I'm learning to knit with fingering weight so that I'm then capable of knitting the cowl.
Oh, right,
yeah?
Okay.
Because if I get used to knitting with thinner yarn, I'll be able to use the beads which you used.
and then I'll be able to make one properly.
Wow.
So
There you go.
come on.
You
So
heard
I
it here
I
first.
will get that done. I lost this will forfeit, and I will complete my forfeit. I am no shirker, because every time I've completed a forfeit, I've learnt something. And once again, I'm starting to think that losing is actually winning.
Right.
Well, it's true, isn't it? Double knitting,
Yeah, very true.
and Robin challenged me lace,
Nice.
holy knitting. Robin challenged me to do holy knitting, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
And Neil, but no, it's not going to work this time. I'll enjoy the fingering weight, and I can't even imagine I'm going to enjoy making the beaded cowl. But learning to knit with fingering weight will be marvellous, and it'll gets the dexterity going with the fingers. Then
It's no different, really. It's no different to knitting.
Well, it is, because it's so much smaller.
Yeah.
You've really got to focus.
It's the-
Do you have
yeah.
anything else?
No, that's me done.
Excellent. That's excellent. It's time to go back to our treasure hunt. And when we left you, we were in the car trying to find Eggleston. And I have physically never, ever driven from where we left you to Eggleston before. And we can't use sat-nav. And we only have Kay's map reading skills to go on, which, as we're going to find out, is slightly challenging.
I'm not being sexist, but I don't think women can really read maps.
I'm sure some can.
I'm sure some
some
can, but I just don't have the ability to do it.
Kay has a feeling, and I do think that you're right, that the way we developed for thousands and thousands of years, men were going out and throwing spears and hunting and judging distances and directions and things, and women weren't doing that.
Yeah.
And of course you can
I do
learn
think
to
that.
do that.
That's very controversial, I know, but I do think
Well,
that,
You can't dispute evolution.
No, you can't.
And, if that's where we came from, it doesn't matter where we are now. Anyone can do whatever they want to do. It's the world we live in. But, that is the way it was, and that's your theory. And, maybe there's some truth in that.
Maybe.
So, let's find out if we can find Eggleston Abbey. And then let's find out what the next clue is and what our mystery destination is. It's going to be super fun. Let's go. I found it. Eggleston Abbey. Now I can't even remember when we went there, but what I do know is when we filmed there for Favourite Places to Knit, it poured down, didn't it?
It did.
Yes, and that's also where there was a really strange cat who was messing with us. But I know exactly where we need to go. At the back of Eggleston Abbey there is an old kitchen. This was bought by a family. It was bought by the family that owned Rokeby Park, which is a stately home just up the road. Ages and ages ago, like 1800s, and it was used. And we actually we covered the story of the couple. There it is down there. Lift the camera up, Bryony, see if you can see it. You see it? So we are now heading away from Barnard Castle down to one of our most favourite places. But I've never driven this direction before, so it's a tricky find, and this is where we're going. This is Eggleston Abbey, which we've covered before in Favourite Place to Knit, and there's a link in the show notes if you want to watch that one again. It's an absolutely stunning place, and we found it by accident, driving to Barnard Castle one day on the back road. But this is where we're going. This is, of course, Eggleston Abbey, which we visited in episode 23. We uncovered the story of Robert Strelley and his wife, who acquired this abbey after the dissolution of the monasteries. They made a home here, and it's the kitchen of that home that we're heading for today. This, though, is the cloister. The cloister is obviously found in every abbey I've ever been to, and this was a place where the monks would teach their novices. They would walk and contemplate, they would read from the Bible, and they would also sit for huge portions of the day transcribing bits of the Bible and then doing lovely paintings and drawings on the side. We're walking now towards the church, and there in the middle is one of the tombs that could well be linked to the family who founded Eggleston Abbey, and that's the De Moulton family. Now, this is the far end, it's the nave end of the church, but we're looking for this building here. This is the house that Robert Strelley lived in, and it has the kitchen.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think I can.
it is an absolutely gorgeous place, and we haven't been here since that day when it rained. So I'm hoping it's not going to curse us today. I don't think it is, actually. It looks all right, doesn't it, out there?
It does.
It's cold, it's just not particularly rainy. Bryony, get us going over the bridge here, because it's a lovely bridge. This was built specifically by the guy who bought the
house because he wanted the arrival, the abbey, sorry, he wanted the arrival to be very ornate, a bit sort of folly-esque.
Here is the man who built the bridge. This is Sir Thomas Robinson. He was an English politician, architect, and an extravagant character whose life was the inspiration of numerous anecdotes. And this was the house he built himself, Rokeby Park, which is literally 2 minutes walk from where we are right now.
How would you describe a folly, Kay? Because some people might not know what a folly is.
It's like it's a building that doesn't really have a purpose.
Just looks pretty.
It's built so that like the person who wants to build it can just go in it and admire his land from it.
And I think they probably had a few glasses of wine while they were up there as well.
Yeah, possibly did, yeah.
So this was the bridge that he built. His house was up there actually, on the left, but it's a really difficult place to visit, which is such a shame because I'd love to go in Rokeby Park. But here we go. There is Eggleston Abbey. We have found it. All we need to do now is get to the kitchen, which is quite dark, briny, and a little bit scary. But there's some amazing graffiti in there, which we'll show you in just a moment. Here it is, Eggleston Abbey, one of our absolutely most favourite places to come and have a picnic. Perhaps not at this time of year though, because it's pretty chilly. But it was a pre-monasterian abbey, so these guys would go out from the abbey and they would actually go and live in communities and be like a priest within a community rather than all staying within the abbey. There's an old ghost story actually which we covered about Brother Martin, who was one of the young monks who'd come into the abbey, and he actually drowned in the river down there. And if you come here on a particular night in the year, supposedly you can see him wading out into the river and then disappearing. But the kitchen is at the back. You can actually see at the back there where there's that bit in the back, which is obviously a house. That's a much later addition. Previously, the abbey was all here. You can see the cloister in the middle and the church is right there. But we need to get in and see if we can find it. And I need to do a time check. Let's do a time check right now. Keep the camera rolling. How are we? 6 minutes? 6 minutes? 6 minutes, 56 seconds. This is just immense. I've not messed with that timing at all. This is not going to be the reason why we don't make it. No, it's here. So there is the house, and the kitchen is through the doors at the back. Bryony, the kitchen is through the doors at the back. Look at that. That would have been in the middle. This was the church. The chancel was here. That was the nave at the top there. Amazing. There would have been, yeah. There would have been someone in there. How are we doing for time? Oh, I'm dropping stuff. Get that. 5 minutes 40 seconds. There's the fireplace up there. Amazing. And another one here. What a lovely building. It really is gorgeous. Go. Yes, go on.
Bear with me a second. I don't even have to
Look for the graffiti. There's graffiti in here somewhere. Now, the parties here were supposedly pretty cool, so this place would have been stocked out with amazing wine, and the party would have been going on out there. But right now, it's obviously rude. We need to find 4 minutes, let me take the camera, because you have to say... No, look. Go.
Stop looking at my hands. Behind the glue.
2 minutes, 55 seconds to go. That's perfect. Grab it.
So this is the kitchen cupboard at Eggleston Abbey, and this is where we found the clue. And on the wall you can see written on the plaster, which is just falling off the walls, it's graffiti written most probably by people who were going to parties, people who were working there, but then in subsequent years by people who visited. So you've got people signing the wall and dating it from the late 1700s right the way through till today. I love this wall so much. But we have of course found clue 3, so let's get it for the girls and see what it is.
Because it's 2 minutes. Okay. Many years ago you tried and failed to find a fort. Built by Romans, then by Henry, but your hunt it came up short. It stood to guard the Stainmore Pass, which you will find right there. Then sit where Geoffrey fought and take a bite into your fare.
Oh! Do we have a clue what's going on?
So I'm guessing you have to sit down and have like, say, whatever.
Yeah.
Right, but where though? So it's somewhere that we tried to get to before but couldn't.
I seem to remember a place, but I can't remember.
Built by, so it's a Roman something. I don't know who Henry is.
Well, the Stainmore Pass is not very far away.
Stainmore.
The Stainmore Pass, that's it's pretty much it's the road that goes over to the Lake District.
Right.
A66.
The only place I can think of, I can't remember the name of the place, but it's near where Shelley used to live, our hairdresser. Am I on the right track, do you think?
It's Bowes Castle.
Bowes, am I right?
That's got to be it.
Bowes Castle.
Well, it has to be it, doesn't it?
Right.
That's the only place I can think of in previous years where we've looked for something and we've not found it.
Yeah.
So we're going to Bowes Castle.
The clock is ticking. We have 30 minutes to complete our task, and it's time for us to head west to find the village of Bowes. Once we get there, we need to find this, Bowes Castle. Now, it was built in the 1st century by Roman General Agricola as he made his way north to conquer Scotland. So the fort here would have been built at pretty much the same time as Piercebridge, where we took you in the last treasure hunt. This fort was called Lavatris, and in my investigations for this episode I found linguistical links from the Roman fort Lavatris to the word lavatory. Now, Agricola built his fort to guard one of the main highways used by the Brigantes. The route followed the dip in the hills which is just opposite this castle, and its name is the Stainmore Pass. The Romans, of course, left in the 4th century, and it wasn't for another 600 years before the castle you see today was built. It was started by Alan, who we mentioned in the last treasure hunt. And look, there is the Stainmore Pass. So just down there in the dip between the hills, the valley there is the Stainmore Pass, and that was used by the Brigantes and then throughout history by people getting from the east side of the country to the west side of the country. And what's interesting is today it is a walking route, a very famous walking route called the Pennine Way. But back to the story. The castle was started by Alan, who we mentioned in the last treasure hunt, and it was completed by King Henry II. King William of Scotland and his army attacked the castle in 1174. And who came to their rescue? Geoffrey, Archbishop of York, and his army. Yes, in those days, the Archbishop was pretty fearsome when he needed to be. Now we need to find this place, and I have no clue where I'm going. So let's go back and see if we get there.
So we're driving down a road I've never driven down before. This is the A67 and we're heading straight down to Bowes. Now, we've only ever been to Bowes once, and that was when we tried to find it before. And the castle that we're going to, now I say it's a castle because it is a castle. The Romans built it initially, but then as the years passed, the Romans left, and it was Henry II who actually built a proper castle on there. Now, Kay,
Yeah.
just read me the last bit of the clue again, because I think I might know what it's on about.
Oh, right, we don't discuss it.
In fact, give us the whole clue again.
Many years ago you tried and failed to find a fort, built by Romans, then by Henry, but your hunt it came up short. It stood to guard the Stainmore Pass, which you will find right there, then sit where Geoffrey fought and take a bite into your fare.
Now, it's talking about Geoffrey, and the only Geoffrey I can think of, other than, what was it called? The kids' TV program, Rainbow.
Rainbow.
I'm assuming it's not.
I don't think it's that Geoffrey.
Geoffrey was the bear, wasn't he?
No, Geoffrey was the man.
Oh,
Bungle was the bear.
Geoffrey was the man.
Geoffrey was the man. The human.
Was he?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. So there was Zippy.
Zippy.
Bungle.
Bungle.
He was Bungle was like the hippo type.
No, Bungle was the bear.
What was the?
The hippo.
Yeah,
What was his name? That wasn't Geoffrey, was it? No.
So there was
Geoffrey
Rod
was the
James.
man, so what was the hippo called? Oh, I don't know. No.
Oh,
I'll
we're
have to
lost.
look it up.
But the Geoffrey I think it's referring to is Geoffrey, Archbishop of York. Look, Bowes Castle. Bryony, look. Sign. Brown sign, Bowes Castle. Bowes. Oh, this was easy to find. Come on. Now, the challenge now is we have to find somewhere to park. So peel your eyes, people. And also peel your eyes for the castle. Because this is something we've never actually set eyes on, have we?
No.
So
George!
George!
I had to Google it.
Oh, you Googled it. I thought you'd thought of it. Now, that might be a place where you can park.
Well, there were cars parked there. Oh, now you've blown it.
The Ancient Unicorn.
Oh, is that what the pub's called?
Yeah.
Oh, look. So it is.
It's
This is an interesting place. So this is where our hairdresser comes from. I wonder if her dad still lives here.
I bet he does.
Now, I mean, I've got no idea, to be honest. I mean, the sign was pointing up. There's another signpost. I could just park there, I suppose, or even there. I think that's what I should do. I'm going to park right here. Hopefully...
You can't drive down to it.
No, there's no parking there. You can stop recording it. Oh no, in fact, keep going a minute. Oh, I'm going to mount the curb. Who cares? I can't imagine there's going to be a traffic warden around here.
No.
Stick it on, maybe. So we've got an awful lot further than we did initially because we've actually found where the castle is down here and we've got parked. So shall we go and find it? Yes! 6 minutes. Time check. Bryony, let's go. Come on. Oh, I forgot my bag.
Oh, right, we're going to go. We'll just go.
Yeah, go.
We'll go.
I can catch you up.
Oh, it's right there.
It's huge. It's quite big, isn't it?
It's huge. Look, big sign, no parking.
parking, yeah.
No parking.
There's a rusty old... Look at that little house there. How cute.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's a huge.
There it is.
Can you believe it?
I don't know how we couldn't find it.
We just gave up and drove home before.
I think we did, but I don't remember driving through the village before.
It's huge.
Look at that. Look at the view. And there's the Stainmore Pass down there.
I want to see the
There's
view.
a really old graveyard here. They look really old, those gravestones.
How did it?
The joy of a selfie stick.
Over here.
Oh, it's not a post box, it's a dog poopy
It's
thing.
one of these.
A stile, darling, it's called. Could you not just open the gate?
No.
Come on.
Why keep pressing a button down there?
Oh, it's fine, don't worry. I mean,
Come on.
yeah, come on, woman.
Yeah, you're telling somebody who normally falls everywhere, darling.
Do you want a hand?
Well, no, not now.
That boy's going to capture fast.
Thanks very much.
Go what?
Captured fast.
Oh, nice. So down there is the Stainmore Pass, and what happened was Geoffrey, Archbishop of York, rode out from York because there was an army coming down this way from Scotland, coming to try and conquer some of England. So he rode out here, and there was a big battle down there on that hill. So we have to try our fair somewhere around here, but first of all, I think we can have a little look around. Look back here. Look at this.
It's huge.
How could we not find this?
I know.
So originally this was a Roman mile castle, but now it is, well now it was, Henry II's castle he built on top of that. So let's go in and have a look.
Now the castle that we're visiting here now, it's only a small part of it that's left. This is just the keep. The rest of it has all disappeared, and that's because it finished usage so long ago. Stone was robbed out, specifically in the Civil War, to build the buildings. We entered through an old arrow slit. The original way in was actually through a doorway that was entered via the first floor. There was an outer building with a staircase up. This staircase is one that's been put in by English Heritage so that you can get up to those upper levels and have a little look at. There's no floor there, but this would have been the main hall within the keep, and it's a lovely view.
Right, we've got like 30 seconds. Right. got to be around here somewhere because we've looked inside. Look up there. Look, hey. I know what that was. Yeah, with the camera, dear.
Oh, sorry.
I know what that was. Those were the loos, and it would drop straight down. So this was all built in, and then it down there, through there, down to the bottom, and then there was a moat obviously going round, and there was running water and all sorts. So it's seriously impressive. Bryony, come on, come on. Can you find it? Yes, she's found the clue.
It's time to visit Wintermonde first logged in the Doomsday Book. So ride at the castle bank and stop a mo to take a look. Then take a stroll down Wall Hill to the place of Holy Cross. Peer through the door to find a wooden statue, or it's a loss.
That's perfect. You read that really well, actually, honey. It's time to visit Wintermonde, first logged in the Doomsday Book. So ride up Castle Bank and stop a mo to take a look. Then take a stroll down Wall Hill to the place of Holy Cross. Peer through the door to find a wooden statue, or it's a loss. Have you got any idea, Kay, what's going on there?
No.
I also have no idea whatsoever. Bryony? No. Any thoughts? Immediate guess is that Wintermonde is an old, a medieval name for something, if it's logged in the Doomsday Book. But I'm going to post this in the Bakery Bears treasure hunt thread, and we need your help. Okay, the last thing that we need to do before we head back to us in a nice warm studio. Have you actually got something to try?
I might have eaten it all.
Okay, so it's just me that's trying something.
It's like a spaceship.
I've got no idea. So is it just going to be like a pork pie in the
It's a
middle?
hand-raised pork pie. Yeah, it's a pork pie. Looks nice. Yummy, yum, yum. Kinda
That's
jealous.
really nice, actually.
Yeah, it looks lovely.
There's a second one if you want a bit.
Oh, no, I can't. I've already had something.
That's actually much nicer than a normal pork pie.
All right.
And why would that be? Is the pastry different?
Well, a hand-raised pork pie, as I understand it, that it's not made in a mould.
Right.
So they use this kind of wooden thing, like I think it's called a dolly, and you put the pastry around it and raise the pastry up like that, and that's how they make it. So it's not actually made in a mould, so that will affect how it bakes, I think.
It looks pretty too.
It does look pretty.
Would
yeah.
this suit our table? On
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely. So are we going to add this to our?
To our picnic. Yeah.
So this is definitely a winner. So I think on that happy note, we should hand back to the studio. We need your help with the clue, which we've already given you. And the Bakery Bears treasure hunt will be back in 2017. How exciting.
Not long, really.
Not long at all. But don't worry, because next episode we're taking you actually to somewhere very close to here. We're in Bowes, and we're taking you to Bowes Museum, which is going to be absolutely lovely because it's a lovely Christmas fair. But for now, though, that's enough treasure hunting, and back to us in the nice warm studio.
Well, that was just the business. We could not, for the life of us, find it the last time we went looking for that place. And my heart sank, I'll be honest, when we realised where we had to go, because I just thought this is going to be a fool's errand, because, you know, we're normally pretty good at finding things. So that does lead me on to, how did we not find it when we went before?
I don't know. Because it's right there in the middle of the village. I don't think we even drove through. I wonder if we just went on that bottom road and didn't turn up into the village.
We must have just totally
really pretty little village.
It's a lovely place. And we're so excited though, because we're going, it's funny that it's called Bowes Museum. And it's just nowhere near Bowes. We'll find out the reason why. But of course, next episode.
Oh, it's Bowes Lions, isn't it? Is it something to do with that?
I don't know. We'll find out. But next episode, it's an Out and About special where we take you to a lovely Christmas fair. And that's not far from where we finished up. But we need your help. As we said at the end of part 2 there, please, because we wouldn't have found out where we were going last time.
Not a clue. I didn't have a clue last time.
Yeah, Wintermonde. Wintermonde. It's really hard to say.
Something happened to you then. What?
That's the word. That's the place name.
Wintermonde.
Yes. Clearly, it is a medieval name of a place. But I'm guessing. because we're all tuned, and then it's a Doomsday Book straight after, so I'm guessing that's a clue. But then Wall Hill, and just please help.
Help.
Head over to the Ravelry group, and there is the treasure hunt thread, and the clues in there, and if you can help us at all, that would be marvellous. And the Bakery Best treasure hunt will be back in 2017.
Wow.
Because of course, it nearly is 2017.
Nearly is.
It's time for us to find out, Kay Jones,
Yes.
what's off your needles?
I do have some things off my needles.
And so do I.
Yeah. The first thing off my needles is the Gaptastic Cowl.
It's Gaptastic, dude.
Nearly couldn't say that. Yep, I finished it, and this had been my bedtime knitting for quite a while. I don't know how long it took me to knit it actually.
It's been ages.
Not that long.
Oh, it is.
3 weeks maybe.
It's so long.
But here it is. I have finished it. It's huge. I say it's huge, but actually I don't think that's just an end that's popped through. I need to sort that out. It should be on the other side. That an end has just popped. It should be on that side.
Right.
I need to just trim it. It actually should be a bit wider than it is.
Oh,
the
nuts.
finished diameter should be about 15 inches according to the pattern. I think this is about 13. So it must have just been either the yarn wasn't quite as thick maybe, or my gauge just wasn't quite right. But in any case, it's huge and it's very, thick. I have washed it, and you've got to love acrylic, haven't you, really? When you wash it, it just washes like you haven't even washed it. Do you know what I mean? And I hand washed it, but then I spun it in the washer, just on the spin setting. Absolutely fine, it came out. So that's a Christmas gift.
Who's that? Oh no, can't say who it's for, because just in case
you might see.
So that means another point to Kay.
So I knit this
So
in.
it's near 7/6 to you. That's your first thing.
But that's my first thing.
Brilliant. And just to finish off, I completely neglected to show you what we have, because it was a bit of a distance. So that is
It's like a blind saucer.
what's it called again?
It's a hand-raised pork pie.
The hand-raised pork pie is definitely going on our perfect afternoon tea
Oh, I love a pork
menu.
pie.
Yes, and that is, although I wouldn't
You
be
said
eating,
it was a bit peppery, didn't you?
we'll find a different. They put too much seasoning into the pork meat, in my opinion. We
Too
could
much
even
black
try making
pepper.
our own.
Well, we could.
Kay made a pork pie.
Oh, shush.
Oh, it's epic.
We don't talk about
And the podcast patrons have seen it within
don't
the...
you dare put up another picture of it.
Well, they've seen it in the Bakery Bears Advent calendar, because it's in as one of the pictures. It's
Last
the most
year,
epic
though.
thing. No, it's in this year too. That's how much I loved it. It was just great. Anyway, what's off my needles?
Ooh,
Well,
what do you think?
this project has not been on the main podcast, and it was, but then months ago, and we're talking probably a year ago, it became my patron-only podcast project. The reason why I did that was I thought that it would focus my mind on getting the project finished, because in January 2015 I first thought up, let's take the bankhead, let's offset the pearl bumps.
Yeah.
Kay said, well, to see if it works, you should start knitting the scarf.
Is that when you started it then?
Yes.
So it's taken you almost 2 years.
Yes. So January 15th, 2015, I sat down and cast this on to see if it would work. I knit up probably 4 or 5 inches, no, not even that, 3 inches maybe.
Yeah.
Kay said it works. I then cast on the brown cowl, and the brown cowl was the thing that I knit that we used to create the pattern from.
Yeah. Yeah.
I then carried on knitting the scarf, but it became so monotonous. So it disappeared from the main podcast, it then reappeared on the Patron-only podcast, and now, thanks to the Bakery Bears Handmade Christmas, it is finished. 2 years in the making. Look at it. Now I would open it out, but it's been washed and blocked. And
Yeah, you can open
are
it
we
a
sure?
little. You can open it a little bit,
You touch it. I'll stay away from it.
Yeah, I was worried about the curling of the edges, but actually, it's blocked out really lovely, and that's half of the length. It's twice that.
And it wraps around my neck
Yeah.
once and then hangs down either side.
It has blocked
And-
beautifully, actually. When you look at it, when you consider how much it was curling, it was just like a little sausage. So it's blocked really, really nicely.
And that is a Christmas gift for one of my brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he'll really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because he's the type of guy who wears a nice scarf.
And it's the uncommon thread. It was a special edition they did, a DK BFL. It was 100% BFL, and the colourway was Plata. And you used 2 skeins, 2 whole skeins.
It's so long, and no
lovely.
matter how hard I knit on it, it just
never seems to grow, do they? I
you're
just
like, oh,
don't know what that is.
me.
It's like a knitting mystery, isn't
so
it?
tough. So that is another point to me.
Yeah.
It's now 7-all. Do you have anything else?
Did you count my cowl?
Yes.
Oh, right,
I counted it a minute ago. I gave you a point.
Yes.
Do you have anything
Yes,
else?
I do. And this is a Christmas gift, and I have finished it.
It has a tail,
It's got a tail.
so everything's on it now.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
I
it
did-
definitely is finished.
I did forget the tail, but
I
it
know.
now does have a tail.
Okay. So
I've knit this for Bryony for Christmas, or I should say Mrs. Claus knit it. I had nothing to do with it really. But here it is, and it's my pattern, the Miss Gelato Giraffe. Look, she's all finished. Oh, isn't she cute? And she does have a tail. I made it kind of super long, which I thought was fun. So there's the lovely tail. And her cardigan is sparkly. If I hold it, can you see if I turn it like that? Can you see that? I don't know if the sparkles are transferring, they're probably not. But it's sparkly. And I found a yarn that actually pretty much matched the colour that I used for, you know, her nose and horns and things. Which was, I think this was a 5 Moons mini. It was a 10 gram mini, and I had about that much left when I finished knitting the cardigan, so it was perfect really. Some cute little buttons that I found in my button stash. And she's all done. Didn't do anything different to, you know, it's my own pattern, so, you know, just followed the pattern. The only thing I did slightly differently was I didn't stuff the very top bits of the legs and the arms. I left a little gap so that this one can actually sit, and the arms go more down than up. So if you're knitting a bakery bear or a giraffe and you want the arms to go more down, because I've had a couple of people ask me that, then just don't stuff the very sort of about this much, what's that, 3/4 of an inch maybe. Don't stuff the top of the arm, and then when you sew it on, it will lie more, you know, like that, rather than up like that.
cool.
And I've called her Sophie. She's Miss Sophie Giraffe. So she's going off to Santa, and she will come back on Christmas Day to Bryony. Yay!
Yay! That's lovely. So it's 8-7 to you. Let's just work out though. So I have another hat, so that
Yeah.
would be another point to me. I have a pair of socks which were for Bryony
Yeah.
for Christmas. I have a pair of socks for you which are for Christmas.
You're
And-
never going to get those done though.
Yeah. And what was the other thing? And we need to bottom out the blanket square issue, which came up last time.
Blanket square
Should
issue.
Kay get a point or not?
Right.
Kay didn't think she should.
No.
And other people agreed with her that she shouldn't. So she isn't getting a point for that blanket square.
No, which is, I think I said that at the time.
The consensus seemed to be that it should be things that were for gifts for
Yes,
Christmas.
yes.
So that is how we've left it.
Did I get a point for my limoncello?
Yeah?
I did.
Yeah, because people were saying you should get 3. Because you put them into 3 bottles.
I made-
If she'd made 3 different liqueurs, then maybe so.
There's actually 4 bottles, because there's another bottle left.
Yeah, but we established it was one batch.
I made a huge batch of limoncello, and for Christmas gifts for people. So yeah, another one for me. But you've
And-
added that in.
Yeah, I did. It's time for it. We've done what's off your needles.
Yep.
It's time to find out what's on your TV.
Oh right.
Well, we started a couple of episodes ago, and next episode we're going to be talking about Christmas movies. Between now and next episode, Kay, we should watch a Christmas movie we've never seen before and
Really?
review it for everyone next time.
Gosh, is
So
the one
just
we
like
haven't
we did,
watched before?
yes, there are.
Oh,
There's some I've noticed on Netflix and also on
Oh,
Amazon.
right.
So we will watch a new Christmas movie to us and we'll review it for you next time. But what we started doing was we started sharing with you our top 5 movies of all time. Last time I think I went first. So this
Did
time
you?
can go first.
I can go first.
Yes.
I probably do have the DVD of this, but I didn't hunt it out. And me and Bryony watched this recently, and we watch it fairly regularly. And it's kind of a film that I sort of take for granted because I've just always watched it. But actually, it's just fantastic and I love it. And it's Calamity Jane.
So that's one of your top 5 movies?
Yes.
Goodness.
I absolutely love Calamity Jane and I have loved it forever. I can't remember the first time I watched it. But I used to watch a lot of musicals when I was young because my mum used to love watching them. So I think that's probably where my love of it came from. And Bryony loves Calamity Jane as well. And we were watching it the other day and I said to you, gosh, Doris Day is just amazing. And she's still alive, isn't she?
Yes.
Unbelievable, her singing. There's nobody like her, I don't think anybody comes a patch on Doris Day when, in the day, obviously, when she was singing. Her voice is just amazing. When she sings Secret Love, I'm like, I'm just gone every single time. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just amazing. And I just love the spectacle of the film. It's kind of, the costumes are kind of silly and everything. And
They're not silly.
well, it's probably not realistic to the time, is it, maybe?
That's not what a film's about.
Well,
Some films are about that, but
no, it's not
a
about
musical
that.
is not about.
No, it's not about that. But I just love it. And Howard Keel is just to die for, isn't he, really?
Yeah, and it's just hilarious.
And why on earth you've got the option of Howard Keel
or some spoon who keeps getting captured by Indians.
Yeah, what was his name?
Dan, isn't it?
I can't remember. Yeah.
He's like a total spoon who...
I mean, Howard Keel wins hands down, doesn't he? I mean, please. Plus, he can sing like, oh my god.
Does the other fella even sing? He doesn't, does he?
No, he
That's
doesn't
funny.
sing. Yeah, so
Next
I mean,
topic.
I cannot imagine there's anybody out there who hasn't seen Calamity Jane.
But at Christmas time, it's the perfect time to
Yeah.
dig out one of those old favourites.
Absolutely.
Stick it on.
Please go and watch
enjoy it.
Calamity Jane and
Yes.
just sit and knit and just indulge in what it is, and because it's just fabulous and I just love it. And me and Bryony sit and we sing all the songs and we do all little cowboy moves and
We've both gone with musicals. Would you believe it? When I was 14, no, I was probably old now, I was older. I know we sort of touched on this slightly before. I was probably 15, actually, definitely. I was 15 and I really got into Grease. And
is it Grease?
it's Grease.
Oh, it's Grease.
It's Grease, definitely.
Oh, you
It's
see,
my
I should have
top
picked
5.
Grease.
Stupendous films. Last time, Mr. Holmes' Opus. This time, it's Grease. And I just love everything about it.
Oh, it's fabulous.
It's the most amazing thing ever. I watched it so many times though that I started to get annoyed by certain extras. There wasn't a lot of people who worked on that film, and if you watch it, the amount of times I watched it, you start to see the same faces, and it loses that. Well, he was there, and he was there before.
I never noticed that.
There is a guy in that film, and I don't know his name. Okay, and he went on to be one of the top choreographers.
Is it the fellow who dances?
Through the 80s.
He's amazing.
He's in a green top at the end.
At the end.
When they're doing the carnival bit at the end.
Yeah.
And he comes and he does a Groucho Marx thing.
Yeah.
Just watch him dance. He's outstanding.
He
and as I
is
say, he went
amazing.
on to become like a top choreographer.
Yeah.
But everything about that film, I love. The music's great,
Yeah.
and the setting is brilliant, and it's
Yeah.
superbly filmed, and John Travolta's great.
John Travolta, another man to die for, really.
Olivia Newton-John is brilliant, and Stockard Channing's just perfect. It's tough, this though.
It's
Picking
very
top 5
tough.
films.
Yeah, I've just thought of another one.
And
actually.
we're into the top 3 next, so it really does start to get tricky. I think you're going to be surprised by certain films that aren't in there.
I think we'll have the same one.
What I'm going for is I'm going for films which had a profound effect on my life.
Yeah.
Mr. Holland's Opus did. It sent me down the teaching route.
Yeah.
Grease, I watched it when I was having a real tough time, when I was in my teenage years. And, all these films have had that type of effect on me. So, it's time for the Endy Bits.
Yes!
And it's very exciting Endy Bits.
Is it?
Because
Yes!
the first thing we have to do is do a TinCan Knits draw.
We do.
The mad colour.
We do. I've closed the thread.
And it's a hard copy, which will be sent to
Yes.
you by Alexa herself.
Yes. And we have, I've already got random number
Brilliant.
ready on my phone.
Look at it go.
I am that prepared. And we had 219 It was up to 219, the entries. So it's from 2 to 219, because mine was the first one. I'm going to hit generate 119.
Who is it?
I will show you that first. So the winner is on Ravelry. Her name is Expat2. Is Maureen from
Oakland. No,
Carl's. Oakland. Where does it say Oakland?
From a distance, I thought.
From Carlsbad in California.
Wow!
Yes, Maureen, you have won the copy of Mad Colour. So Maureen, if you wouldn't mind, would you PM me your full name and address? You can either message me on Ravelry or private message on Instagram, whichever you prefer, and then I will pass that on to Alexa and she will get that sent to you.
We launched something rather exciting on our patron-only podcast.
We did.
Last Friday. And the reason why I'm mentioning it here is there's an element to it which you can join into even if you're not a patron. I run, and we came up with a plan.
We did.
A very cunning plan. Cut a very long story short, we've decided to run around the world. Yes. So what you do is, if you want to take part, is head over to the Ravelry group. There is a running thread which you'll see there, and if you go in there, it tells you how it works. So you don't have to be a runner, you could be a walker. The only thing is you need to be on two legs. So long as whatever you're doing, you've got two legs on the floor, so that's walking or running.
Why would you not have two legs on the floor? Oh, you mean cycling?
Not cycling.
Right, I was very confused. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
why would you not have two legs on the floor? Okay.
So we're going to have two legs on the floor, and we will be going around the world. How will that work? Well, we've planned out a route with lots of destinations. We're going to some amazing places. And what I'll do is each month I'll plot where we've got to. But if you head over to Ravelry, there's a thread there and you can read all about how it works. So yeah, if you want to find out about the run, if you'd like to get involved with that, that's open to anyone who wants to get involved, the run, and just head over to Ravelry and check out the thread. But that set Kay thinking.
It did. It got me just thinking about the whole idea of going around the world. And I've always loved watching I watched the film. I've never read the book, and this might be a good opportunity, but I always really loved the Around the World in 80 Days, the Phileas Fogg, Jules Verne story. And then I just suddenly thought, well, I wonder if we could turn this into a knit-along. And we are going to do that, so it's just for our patrons, but we thought we'd mention it because it's probably something that we're maybe going to be talking about on Instagram and showing things during the year, next year, and we just wanted to make you aware of it, really. But the idea of it is, each item that you knit, you can knit anything, each item that you knit will be allocated a certain number of miles.
And the way we've come up with that is, I said to Kay, how long would it take you to monogamously knit, say, a hat, for example? And then I've then used what an average runner would run in the equivalent time.
Yeah.
So I don't mean constant running. I mean,
No.
if Kay said it's going to take a week and a half to finish a hat, then how far would an average runner run in a week and a half? Well, it would be X amount of miles, and that's the miles that's been then used for.
So, I mean, basically, the longer something takes to knit, then the more miles it will generate. Everything that you knit, starting January 1st, will be compiled on a monthly basis, and at the end of each month, we will then plot where we are in the world.
And we mentioned we're going to some amazing places.
Yeah.
Well, we totally are. Paris, Carcassonne, Genoa, Rome, Tobruk, Alexandra, Cairo, and Jerusalem,
and
the list just goes on.
Yeah. So we just want to see how far we can get, or how long it will take us. I mean, there's no sort of time scale to this. It might go on all year.
Well, it will go on all year.
Yeah, it probably will.
Well, it will. That's a fact, because running alongside this knit along, we're actually going to be launching some new things, some new videos and things that we're going to be putting through for our patrons via Patreon, and that is, I'll be doing a history show around the world in 12 episodes. For wherever we are at the end of each month, Dan will do some history. So we might be in Egypt, so we'll do some history. We will be in Egypt. How fabulous, I would love that. And then we're also going to do, I'm going to do a baking or cooking section, again, for wherever we are in the world. I will research, or, I'll ask. It may be that we've got people living in that area in the world and they can tell us, what's traditional. And I'll be cooking or baking something from that area and recording that as well. So it's going to be And of course, the most amazing thing of all about all this is we're changing our Patreon-only podcast from a recorded show to a live show.
We're going to be recording it live, which will be absolutely
again, we're not recording it live. We're broadcasting it live.
Yeah, sorry.
I only say that because currently we record it live. Because we record it live, we have no edits, and then it goes out. But we're now removing the safety blanket.
We're broadcasting live.
It's broadcasting out straight live,
yes.
and then we will then put out a recording of that live broadcast the following week. Yeah. But it's going to be a huge part of next year.
Yeah, and there is a thread on Ravelry if you want to go and sort of look at the details. It is, like I said, it is just for our patrons, but you can see everything about it on there and sort of follow, what's happening.
And that's the reason why the running thing, we were always going to, I was going to do it anyway, and it was just an open to all thing we did this year. But if we've got any hope at all of getting around the world in a year, I'm going to need a few runners, and there's going to be way more knitters than there are runners. Because on the open to all group last year, I got 24 runners. And I think I'm going to need at least double that if we're going to do it.
Yeah, and they're called the Phileas Fogg Knit Along. So if you see that popping up places, then you will know what it's about.
Bakery Bear's Handmade Christmas is continuing to go rather well.
We have so far 643 entries in the Everybody thread and 199 in the Patron FO thread. So it's fantastic. Runs until Boxing Day, so we've still got time. Good 2 weeks yet to get those items knit and entered in. And then I've got one thing actually to add to the prizes that I'm going to show you.
Cool.
Is that okay?
That sounds good. Show it.
I ordered from Deb this last week at Fondant Fibre. She does from time to time these mini sets. I say minis, they're actually 20 grams of each, which is a huge mini. But I saw this one, I just thought, it's just absolutely beautiful. I had to order it. And it's her Old Romance skein-lets, she calls them. Aren't they pretty? Look at those. So we've got, going across from here, Que Sera, Secret Love. Just been talking about that song.
Well, she also sang Que Sera.
Oh, she did, of course.
Carry on.
Yeah. Breathless Kiss, I don't know that one.
Keep going.
Sentimental Journey and on Moonlight Bay.
Interesting.
So the only one I don't know is Breathless Kiss. I've not heard of that one. I don't know what film that's from. Do you?
No, I don't know, but there's a link. There's a definite link with Doris Day with those first two.
Secret
and
Love.
It makes me start to wonder if there's a link with all of them. We need to do some research.
Yes. So I've got mine. You can see mine. I've opened it. She sent me another one for a giveaway. Deb, thank you so much. And I just thought I'm going to add these into the prizes for the Handmade Christmas into the main thread. So this will be another prize into the main thread.
Cool.
Beautiful. I can't wait to knit those in, Deb. They're absolutely gorgeous. I love them. And then the last thing...
The Bakery Bears Advent Calendar is, of course, running. There's been some really cool ones out this week. We had our first guest presenter.
We did.
Nana Wendy's made her appearance too.
Yeah.
We've had our favourite places to knit this week in the Advent Calendar. I mean, come on. Yes, but sorry, I cut in. What
it's okay. Saying? I've just got one last thing I wanted to show you, and I don't know, again, everything I've been saying about Christmas knitting, I don't know if this is something I'm going to get done or even started before Christmas.
You're not.
I'm not.
No.
Dan's declared that I'm not. But I'll show you anyway.
Well, you'll be putting immense pressure on yourself.
I will be, I know.
When you've already said about all the other things.
I know, but I'll tell you what my idea was, because I will do it at some point next year if I don't get it done. And I suddenly had a thought. Bryony really loves Winnie the Pooh, Pooh Bear. And she's got several stuffies of Pooh Bear. One of them's a really special one that she's had since she was a baby.
So you were going to do this for Christmas for her?
I was.
But she's not expecting it?
She's not expecting it, no. So you never know, I might be able to get it done.
Yeah.
And
I think you should.
Oh, no, can you hear him? This is unbelievable.
But look at the colours.
I know. And wait till I tell you what it is. I thought, why don't I knit a Mr. Bakery Bear but make it look like Pooh Bear? Is this not the most genius idea that I have ever had? So immediately I went up to my stash and went hunting through to try and find the perfect Pooh Bear colour. Of course I didn't quite have. I had several orangey yellows, but it wasn't quite perfect. So I thought Cascade 220 is the most likely to have the closest colour. So I went and looked, and I did find one which is all, you know, as near as damn it, as we would say, to Pooh Bear. And I think it's Goldenrod, but this is the colour. It's a pretty good match. It's colour number 7827.
Did you say goldenrod?
I think it's called Goldenrod, the colour.
That is what Han Solo calls C-3PO.
Oh, really? Ah.
And that would work for a C-3PO.
It would work for a C-3PO, yeah. So I've got this colour, and then I needed a red for his jumper, and again, I didn't quite have the right red. So I looked at I like to use the King Cole bamboo cotton, and I've got the red from them. And I think those colours are just perfect. Is that not Pooh Bear? And I bought also, I didn't have any black, just plain black 4-ply. So I got a little ball of drops 4-ply cotton for like 80 pence. I couldn't believe it, and it's perfectly fine. So I got the black as well.
Perfect.
Mr. Bakery Bear, Winnie the Pooh,
Nice.
Mr. Bakery Bear.
Good call.
I know, I'm desperate to do it, and I really, really want to do it because I think she would go nuts.
Well, do it then. Go on.
Listen to it.
Get on with it.
But it's a Mr. Bakery Bear, so there's not as much work as the Mrs. There's no shoes, you know, so it's just the bear and a jumper, and then you embroider Pooh, don't you, in that same colour. I'll probably for that use like a split strand of that to embroider Pooh across his jumper. And I think the jumper, you know what I will do, because his jumper, if you look, it kind of rolls up at the bottom. It goes over his little belly like that. It rolls up. So I'll probably just do a shortened version of the one I do for Mr. Bakery Bear, just plain stocking stitch, but do a rolled hem, you know, just stocking stitch, not do an actual garter border. I think that would work. So I really want to do that. I think it'd be so cute.
Sounds good.
I know.
Cool. Anything else?
No, that's it, I think.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. We've had a treasure hunt.
Yes.
We've had as many actually works in progress, because you did. How many did you do?
5, I think.
And I did 4. So that's 9. And then 3 off your needles.
And I have got other things on the go.
That's a good effort. No, I meant for all of us.
It's kind.
It was a combined good effort. So thank you so much for watching. So much Christmas excitement going on. As already mentioned, the
Yes.
Advent calendar.
So our next episode will be out on Christmas Eve.
It will. It will. There's no rest for the wicked. And in our next,
I think I'll have to have some mince pies on hand.
In our next episode, it will be the Christmas knit or forfeit.
Wow.
And because we have to get it done in one episode, it will be 5 questions each.
5 each.
So 5
Cool.
each, because we normally do 10 in an episode
Yeah,
and only 2 episodes.
yeah.
So 5 each.
Right,
And then
brilliant.
we'll find out who wins
So
Christmas knit or
questions,
forfeit.
is it on anything to do with Christmas? Or is it just Christmas films? Did we
Well,
decide?
I think you stipulated something before, but you know, what do you want to make it? Let's lay down the mark
Let's say
right
Christmas films, because,
Okay.
yeah.
So it is questions on Christmas movies.
Yes.
So we'll be properly in the Christmas mood by the end of
Well,
that
won't
episode.
we?
And then also as well, it's a visit to the Christmas fair. So
Gosh,
yes,
wow,
so
packed
much to go.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for watching,
Thank you.
and we'll see you in 2 weeks on Christmas Eve.
Who's it sitting and knitting? It's Dan and Kay, the bakery bears. Enthusiasm's not quitting for Dan and Kay, the bakery bears. They'll take you to fabulous places of which their favorites they'll share. You better buy a pattern and knit yourself a bakery bear. You'll find yourself in a castle while watching the bakery bears. It never feels like a hassle to sit and watch the bakery bears. What's on your shelf or what's in your oven, or maybe a shawl you'll want to wear. So sit yourself right down and watch Dan and Kay, the bakery